And I'm going to actually take what we discussed last week about practicing building those layers from 0 to 5 and then apply that to a piece. So what you're going to do is you want to print out the piece that you want to burn, and then you're going to go ahead and you're going to circle and number where in your piece it's the lightest, 0, and then where the piece is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, from light to dark. And then once you label all that, then you can go ahead and start burning, and you actually know, okay, once I hit 2 on this certain spot, I'm not going to touch it anymore. Then once I hit 4, 5, then you'll finish your piece that way, and you go from light to dark. So let me show you what I mean. You've printed out the piece that you want to burn, and to make this onto your piece of wood realistic and add the depth into the piece and build the layers and the shading, something you're going to want to do before you start is actually number where on this piece the shading matches with the practice wood that you did last week. Wherever on your picture you're not going to burn, you're going to circle 0. And then wherever it's the lightest burn, you're going to circle 1, go through each number until you get to the darkest burn, number 5. So let me show you as an example. So I've got my pen, so I'm going to write 0 because I'm not going to burn the sky here. And then I'm going to number 1, like on his trunk is number 1, right where the light is hitting his body and the reflection on the water. The background, there's a lot of light back there. So I go through and number everywhere where it's the lightest burn I'll have. Then I'll go through number 2. I will go and burn a number 2 like on his body there, a number 2 like on his ear here. Some of this grass is a number 2. Right here next to the light is a number 2. Then I'll go number 3 and go a little darker. And number 4 is the almost, so like right here on his ear, it's not completely black, but it's pretty dark. Same thing, like right before the shadow is going to be a number 4. On his, right here is going to be a number 4. And then number 5 is going to be like my darkest places. So number 5 is going to be right in this shadow right here. Another number 5 is going to be like in the back leg right there. So I'll just number 5 and make an arrow towards that. Same thing, like that's almost pitch black, right? That's going to be really dark bird. So I'll just number 5 and put an arrow towards there. So that's going to be my number 5. And so I've got that. I got like the lightest burn and then a slightly darker burn and then go to the very darkest burn. Then when I'm burning, I'll just make sure that I build those layers and then stop burning. You know, after I add that first layer, then I'll stop burning there. Then on the second time through, I'll burn the second a little bit darker and then the third one. And I build those layers until I get to the very darkest one. And okay, 1 to 5, that's a very low number. There's a lot more shading in here than just 5 different tonal values, those shades. As you get better, you can go, 1 to 10, 1 to 20. The more layers you build, the more realistic your piece is going to end up. And I just want to really quickly show you with the final project here that I did a while back. And you can see, like, I made this the number 5, and I didn't burn here, and I made this really light. So that was a number 1, then number 2. This was like a number 3, the number 4, number 5. So I just built those layers, and each time I went through, I added another layer, got it darker and darker until I got the final project. All right, guys. Well, I hope that was a little tip that you can use as you try to take your shading and then actually apply it to a piece, and to be able to see where you should have your lightest burns and where you should have your darkest burns, and add that tonal value, those shades, into your pieces. We'll see you guys next week.